Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Commands, talk today.
If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It is a distinct pleasure today to start things off with the excellent company of His Excellency, our Governor. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you. It is a wonderful Wednesday, and I trust and pray like me, you are not only rejoicing and giving thanks, but feel blessed as you endeavor to be a blessing to others. It is truly a pleasure to welcome officially to the first time, to meet formally His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Martyn Roper. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much, and it's a real pleasure to be here. I have, of course, been to the radio station before, but first time to come on your show, so pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you very much. Getting to meet Miss Susan is a highlight of everybody's day. And I think it's what makes me come back for more every day.
Right.
But I think the country is in store. We've been over the years very, very enamored with our relationship, with the UK as the royals have visited over the decades, and this time around, perhaps even more. More timely, more appropriate, as it were. So we're excited to understand more, and even that the government felt it, incumbent to host a public holiday to allow the country as a whole to be in a celebratory mode. So good afternoon, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, we're a week away now from the royal visit, the most senior royal visit to the island since 1994, when Her Majesty the Queen visited, and I think we're in very good shape in terms of the programme. And your listeners will have probably seen their Royal Highnesses have already begun their Caribbean tour, and we're looking forward to receiving them very much a week today.
And it is remarkable, as they sort of take the tour and see, this part of the world, and for us to be so close and to have an opportunity to sort of engage. Now, what will the public be like? What is their opportunity? Because some of us remember when Her Majesty, came back in the early days, and then her return visit in '94. Yeah. It's been spectacular ever since,
It has, and I think we've got a really good programme for their Royal Highnesses, who we want to meet and be able to see as many people as possible across the island. So they arrive next Wednesday in the afternoon. There is a ceremony at the airport to open the new extension. They then will return to Government House, and they'll be meeting with the Premier and myself. The next day they will split up in the morning, so we're delighted that His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales will visit the sister islands, Cayman Brac, where he'll open the new swimming pool. He'll also then go on to Little Cayman and visit the CCMI, the Central Caribbean Marine Institute, and he'll be able to talk to some divers by video link who are down on the coral reef and learn about the work that they're doing. So that, I'm sure, will be a visually exciting moment. The Prince will then come back to Grand Cayman, and he goes to the Botanic Park, and there are three events there. He will first of all open the new children's centre, and he will go and see something of the incredible work of the Blue Iguana Conservation Programme. And he'll have a discussion with some experts in the financial services industry about blue-green finance, one of the things he's interested in. So this is how you raise funds for sustainable development projects. Her Royal Highness, the Duchess, has a separate programme in Grand Cayman that morning. She will open the new Jasmine Hospice, which is a wonderful thing. Everyone's very aware of Jasmine. She'll also visit Georgetown Primary School, and she'll go and talk to volunteers and staff at the Crisis Centre for vulnerable women and children. And then both their Royal Highnesses will attend what I think will be a wonderful reception at Pedro St James, which will be the final sort of engagement of their visit. But I think we will pack a lot in to that sort of 24 hours, just over 24 hours.
Well, I don't know about much rest and relaxation, but certainly a very enjoyable time nonetheless. As they come, I think it's good for the country, from the financial aspects to sustainable development, to the notion that we're opening up facilities to empower, but also to make the community more cognizant of the need to work hand in hand. From that perspective, though, is the wider public be able to engage with the royals at all during their visit?
Absolutely, and I'm very pleased we've been able to I think, work very hard. And let me first of all just also pay tribute to staff in my office and in the government. Many people, the police as well. Many people have been working incredibly hard on this programme. So a big thank you to them. One of the things we're really keen to see is maximum public participation. A press release is going out today, giving details of the various events and how the public can engage. I would sort of underline that there are 5 sort of key events where the public can come along to those. So the airport ceremony, where we'll have large screens and microphones so people will be able to watch and see the ceremony as we open this wonderful new airport extension. On the sister islands, both events are open to the public. I think on the BRAC, I hope most of the islands will come out and attend that event. Similarly on Little Cayman, we also are inviting the public to attend the Jasmine Hospice opening, and of course at Pedro St James, we're inviting the public to come along to that and observe and see the reception, the speech that His Royal Highness will give at Pedro Castle, along with the Premier and myself. In addition to that, we do have lots of school children. I think really important, these visits, we want to have a big impact on children. I think people remember these visits for many years to come. So at Georgetown Primary School and also at Clifton Hunter, we hope there will be many children and parents, not just from those schools, but from other schools across Grand Cayman. So all in all, we will have lots of opportunities for the public to have access to their Royal Highnesses during the visit.
And the idea too, that I think from what we gather, in order to encourage participation, but also to maybe be, again, a little bit more environmentally conscious and allow people to move easily. I understand some bus shuttle service may be available to the wider public. Yes,
absolutely. And the press release will go into that in a bit more detail. I think clearly at an event like Pedro St James, with just the single road, parking and driving in cars will be difficult. So I think the ministry is working very hard to try and bus people in, and we're encouraging people, if they do drive, to share cars with friends and relatives. But details about all of that will be released shortly.
Well, we certainly appreciate, you not only taking the lead, but sharing with us and then giving the people a heads up. The notion that we would use, say, a bus is not only is it convenient, but it also builds a greater sense of camaraderie and adds to the celebration. You're respectful. It's almost like, you go into a good football match and all the fans get together and we go, and as we arrive, we're in good spirits. It makes it much more, amenable and convenient. I think it's going to be excellent.
Yeah, it does. And I was very pleased that the government took the decision to announce a public holiday. I think that's nice. Although I think one or two said it's a shame it wasn't on a Friday. But anyway, we've got a public holiday on a Thursday.
I think what we should do, since we've got a Thursday, add the other 4 days in, have a week-long celebration.
Exactly.
No, but I'm very, very, as you shared, very appreciative, because it gives the country a chance, one, not only to show its appreciation, but to recognize the importance of it. And, Excellency, as you indicated, our students specifically are the ones who are going to probably remember this as, they come into their own, start their careers and their families, like some of us can recall, back in 82 when Her Majesty visited, or back in 94 when the football, sort of fever hit, and the good fortune that she brought to the team. Who knows what this might unfold?
No, I think that's right. And I think for His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, he was here in 1973. He was on a Royal Navy ship, HMS Minerva, and I think he was only sort of 19 at the time. So, wow, what a change he will see as you know the remarkable progress that the Cayman Islands have made in recent decades. And I think, I mean, obviously it's the people that make a place, and I want them to have access to people. But when you see the high quality tourism sector, the world beating financial services industry, which has a global impact, the sort of the infrastructure development that we've seen on the islands. I've been here 4.5 months, and I'm proud to be governor and proud to serve the people of the Cayman Islands. But you Cayman Islands should be very proud of what the Cayman Islands is today.
Well, I'm very, very appreciative on a personal level to hear, that comment, because I think not many of us hear it sufficiently across the different sectors, not just from government officials or politicians or from those, in the church, but as a public, we need to take pride. Whether it's the litter on the road, or whether it's the attendance at the schools, or the participation at the children's choir rehearsals, or the performance of our plays, we need to be a part of our society. And the excuses that we're so busy, yes, we are busy, but is it all for naught if we're not participating? Yeah. Maybe this visit might remind us that our society is about building a stronger sense of community and that unification when we can celebrate together.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well. So I would love very much, if it's not improper, to extend an invitation to you or your office, whether in person or through even a press release, to share with us, because I think the public is very, very the appetite is very wet in order to have that engaged dialogue to see where this country is going to go in the next 10 years, where we're going to be in the next century. We just might never know, right?
Yeah, well, I know I would welcome that. I think since arriving at the end of October, I've wanted to be very open and accessible as governor, and I've met a lot of people across all walks of life, I think for me to be able to do my job as effectively as possible and support the security and prosperity of these islands, and I need to be speaking to people to understand concerns and issues, and that's something that I've sought to do and will continue to do.
Well, I know that it's been welcome and appreciated, and I think as we look at what is unfolding, the idea that we're in this together, that security and prosperity, but it's also the stability and the social harmony, the notion that we're working together as we work for each other. It's not just each man in his own canoe. It's a team effort, sir.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right, His Excellency, our Governor, Mr. Martyn Roper. And do you think that Radio Cayman wasn't the best? Just wait and see what Susan has in store for us when we return. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
It's March Madness on all SUVs at BAM Motors, with SUVs starting as low as $20,500 and savings up to $6,000. Find the SUV that fits your budget and island living style. Choose between the roomy 4Runner, the bold Fortuner, the 7-seater Rush, or BAM Motors' #1 selling SUV, the RAV4, all from Toyota. Or choose the compact EcoSport from Ford. Save now on the best SUV deal ever from BAM Motors, with savings up to $6,000 and SUVs starting at $20,500. Drive home the deal of the year during BAM Motors March SUV sale. BAM Motors, Walkers Road.
Miami is so much more than just a shopping destination, offering a variety of vacation experiences. And regular Miami airfares are now from just $182 CI round trip, including taxes, with Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The Cayman Brac Agriculture Show Committee presents the 16th Annual Cayman Brac Agriculture Show, Saturday, March 23rd from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Agriculture Grounds of Songbird Drive on the Bluff. Tons of fun for the entire family. Animals, antiques, art and craft displays. Only $8 entrance fee. Children 4 to 10 years old, $4, and free for children 3 and under. Raffle tickets are $10 and include entry for a grand prize of $2,000 US among others. Travel from Grand Cayman is a breeze with extra same-day flights on Cayman Airways. Check them out on Facebook at BRAC Agriculture Show. Don't miss the annual Cayman BRAC Agriculture Show, Saturday, March 23rd.
The Department of Environmental Health is committed to picking up your garbage. To avoid delays, please place all of your household garbage in large bags. Do not overfill garbage bags or place loose trash in containers. These risk lengthy stops, which in turn lead to greater delays. Inform your neighbors too. Their poorly packed garbage will delay your pickup as well. Bag it and bin it. We will collect it. Do your part. We will do ours. Brought to you by the Department of Environmental Health.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm very grateful that despite his very hectic, demanding schedule, His Excellency the Governor was able to give us a few minutes and to share specifically, directly, sort of a public invitation on behalf of the Governor's office to join, as we have the opportunity to welcome the royal visit next Thursday. And as many of you know, it's going to be a public holiday. So we can, as a country, come out and celebrate and perhaps, share in the not just the opportunity to fellowship, but to maybe build a greater sense of unity and show our strength as a growing community as we continue to look at all that is before us as an opportunity. I think that our children specifically, through their various schools attending their functions, will be able to, for generations, to sort of remind. As I, was sort of looking at our discussion earlier, I recall a conversation not that long ago when this visit was announced of a fellow who said, he remembered when the young, the then young Prince Charles, was in the, in the country. Yes, he's on the naval ship and he comes ashore. And to think, someone who is at that time maybe in their 40s or their 30s, or even at that time maybe in their teens as well. And now you fast forward, all these decades later, and they're thinking, there's perhaps similar age as the Prince, or they maybe just a little bit older or just a little bit younger. You start to appreciate life's perspective as time unfolds. Now, I think many of us recall just as vividly the visit by Muhammad Ali as we can when Her Majesty visited, especially in 1994, leading to that famous football victory. For a brief time, there was a great sense of, not just celebration, excitement, but a sense of national pride by all of us who live, work, and call, Cayman home. And I think, as His Excellency shared, the notion that discussions are not only going to be looking at environmental consciousness, but how do we develop in a sustainable way that brings great financial reward to those who are making the investments, but also shows a healthy respect for the development, for sustainability, for generations to come. To show the two can and perhaps should coexist. Well, let's have some open line as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. 949-8037 or 949-6990. And likewise, if you so choose, you can call us on our toll-free line, 1-800-534-8255. Now, today, like almost every day here on Talk Today, we believe it's a very special, spectacular, and specifically designed to love, our listeners to actively engage and to participate. So as we have some open line, just a quick reminder that as part of our discussion, we had a chance at 1 p.m. to welcome our Deputy Governor together with the Chief Officer in the Portfolio of Civil Service to talk about a new sort of program that is going to be sort of geared towards those Caymanians who have a prior conviction to, sort of be reintegrated into the workforce to be able to, take up their place in society, and again to feel valued and respected and welcome and appreciated, and to recognize that sometimes our paths take us a way that may be one that we would only wish hadn't transpired, that we didn't foresee happening. Maybe it was so fast and reckless in our heyday that we just found, this was the inevitable outcome. But shouldn't we get second chances? Well, that's exactly what the program is aimed at. So we get a chance to speak to the Deputy Governor about that in short order. In the meantime, though, 949-8037, 949-8037, or 1-800-534-8255. Following yesterday's discussion, we had a number of individuals who had asked some questions sort of relating to the comments that some listeners yesterday had sort of posited relative to the notion that as the country is moving forward with its development, as it's looking at how to diversify its economy, one individual said, as much as we probably would not want to consider, maybe it is time that we should, not just to jump on the bandwagon and avoid being left behind, but when we look at it and all said and done, could it, one, reduce the criminal behavior, the criminal element, and make the community safe or safer from two perspectives? The fact that with the sort of criminal motive removed, and two, the actual consumption being safer because you have a better quality product. Would that be better for those who engage? This whole issue of legalizing cannabis, not just for personal possession and smoking and however it's consumed, but the growing of the product for the medicinal properties to ensure that, I think someone said strains, not strands. I thought that's what they said, but you can correct me. But anyway, growing it so that whatever it is that's used to enjoy or to be put to productive use, that you are very much aware of the source of it, very much aware of the quality, the integrity. Someone relayed a most unfortunate story about a family member that I think he used the word season, and I sort of misunderstood. I do again apologize to the fellow for that. But we see instances where people over time may have been given something, whether deliberately or most, unfortunately, with the consequence that it has had very harmful, debilitating consequences for the person. If that can be avoided, wouldn't it be better? We look just to one of the most recent police reports that indicated that almost 1,000 pounds of ganja, has been sort of seized. So we have to commend the continuing policing initiatives, the interdiction that's taking place. But questions are asked: if one boat comes in with 900 pounds, is there another one that is either slipped through or is attempting to come through? And not only were they successful, but seemingly there was some exchange or at least brandishing of a firearm from the illegal vessel entering the waters. How safe is it out there for policing personnel? Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you today?
I am good. Sterling, I don't know anything about marijuana, ganja, or cannabis, no more than the little street talk and what the radio be talking about from time to time.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
It's, a lot of places are making it legal. We have, I think, some law here now that certain patients can have the cannabis all through a doctor and so forth, right? Right? Something in that category?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyhow, what I can't understand is that people are talking about growing the ganja here, and some people want to be legalized and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But Sterling, when the boats come in with tons and tons of ganja for the dealers over here in Cayman, I don't know how we can say we want to grow marijuana here in the Cayman Island, and if someone brings it on a boat and they're caught, there's a big fine and so forth. So I just can't. I don't. I'm not, like I say. I'm just curious. Okay,
right.
I'm just curious.
But let me ask.
I just want to know, how do you balance out growing the marijuana here? It's not. It wouldn't. I don't think it'll ever become illegal here in Cayman. But having these boats bring it in, and they're being caught. Some is being caught, and some is not being caught. You understand?
Right. So let me ask then. See if I can help. Let's say someone is coming through. Again, well, let's use a boat. So they bring in a boat with bananas or cassava or yams, and there's no trade and business license. They didn't get, presumably, the requisite clearance from the Department of Agriculture. So they bring in a boatload of ground provisions. Should we sort of do something to make sure, one, they're not bringing in any sort of diseases with those ground provisions, that the ground provisions are actually fit for human consumption?
Yeah, I agree. There should be some restriction and some protection, because we don't know if it has anything that's a poisonous or killer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, which is no more than fair. And if they want to bring those things in, they go and apply for a license. If we do have a license here for them to bring them into the island to sell to us.
Right.
For the island. Right.
Well, I hear you what you're sharing, and before I venture into my own view, because like you, I probably have limited insight at this stage. But
I do.
All right. We do have another caller. Anything else you want to share with us in relation to that?
No, I just wish that we could just try to balance out what they're trying to say in regards to making it grow here, making it legal, and the guys are bringing it in by the boatloads, and some is being caught and some not being caught. How would we balance that out if they were to make it legal here on the island? Because, like I say,
right.
I wish I never come here, but everything is possible when it comes to the Cayman Island.
All right. Well, let's see what else is possible. Hey, thanks very much, Mom.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, with Ms. Susan's consent, let's just take this caller. Welcome. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Hello, welcome, Sterling.
Hey, how are you today? How are you?
Yeah. Good man. I'm Stephen Rambo speaking. Sterling,
yes, sir.
4 minutes now, Sterling. Listen, the former commissioner, Beans, right?
Mm-hmm.
On another talk show.
Yeah,
I put him a task, right?
Yeah, he said it here too.
Right, I put him a task, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. When those narcotics are missing, right? 57 kilos total, right? 24 kilos cocaine, 33 ganja, right? And I tell him, point blank, listen, you look at this time in Mexico, I tell you. And he was so reluctant towards it, right? And listen, the whole technical thing about it, he say, right? The practical about it, he say we should decriminalize it, because instead of people bringing it here, right, the black market, profit gain from it, right? That from his perspective, right? Commissioner of Police. And look at the US now, right? I always mention all countries, so we can exemplify from that. You feel that, right? Look at the US and Mexico. You can buy £100 of ganja, right? So $100 worth of ganja in Mexico, and you sell it in the metropolitan states for $1,000. It's a profit.
Yeah.
You see that markup? Okay. So the whole scenario of it now, if ganja legalized now, it could be like a communism.
Yeah.
The wages,
Do you think if it was legalized, so like you can go now to places and buy beer or other alcohol, or you can buy tobacco products. Do you think you'll find more people using it? Because that seems to be a fear that some have. Because it's legal, people will then go and, use it.
Alright, Sterling. It'll be now, like, in Cayman Islands, all right? Alright, people, you would expect people that consume marijuana, but you know how you can blaze up, light up. The alcohol will decrease, sales will decrease. So I tell you that for a fact. Alcohol and tobacco will decrease gradually.
Why? Why do you think?
Because the marijuana is a recreation, right? So you don't have to depend on alcohol.
Right. If I can ask you, and I honestly, I will at some point, hopefully between now and, when I get to be 100, do some more reading about it. But I don't know a lot. It just hasn't been something that has been on my, reading list as it is. But a couple of things. Do you, from what you're reading, and I really appreciate that you have an insight into the politics of all the countries, the economics. I mean, you really, people like you bring a lot to the discussion publicly. From what you read and from what you know, do you think that, one, there's a great incidence of people, whether in Cayman, but Cayman specifically, but Cayman elsewhere, that when they take a ganja spliff, I can use it that way because I don't know too much about the language, that ganja spliff could be mixed with something else, and that is not, expected to be in there, and cause that person to be affected in a bad way or in a worse way?
Different in Cayman, right? Anyway, especially the Caribbean region, a lot of bad mind tendencies going on. So people, they say sabotage you. But the best thing to do, right? Roll your own spliff. Right? You brush your own teeth.
Right. Simple. Yeah, because... Yeah, and the reason why I ask is that I've had a couple of sort of people who know better. I know Miss Susan telling me to get close to the time, but hold on, Miss Susan, just hold on. that when the ganja is being shipped, so smuggled, I guess would be the best word, because so it's being smuggled in order to protect it, or even when it arrives, in order to preserve it, formaldehyde and other similar things are being used to keep it. And to much as I know, formaldehyde isn't something that you want to put into your body, especially when you're alive. So if that sort of thing is being put into it, could that be something that is, negatively affecting people?
Some cases probably hallucination. Some cases.
Okay.
So best thing do local like your own thing.
Yeah.
Because.
But if you were growing.
Yeah.
If a person grows his own thing, right, but in the backyard, and I don't know if it takes 1 plant or 10 plants or 1,000 plants, but if you're growing your own thing, and the police come and check it out, and you say, boy, I just got this plant here on the greenhouse or whatever you see, you probably have to be in jail.
But Sterling, give me 1 minute. I know your time up. Your time elapsed now.
Yeah, Susan's giving me a hard time too, boy. So sorry, Miss Susan. Go ahead, man.
The host that I call about today, right? They're not calling for. Those for the 7 kilos of marijuana and cocaine, right? 33 ganja, 24 of cocaine, right? That's the police now. But then inside job, Baines was speculating about that. So it's time to legalize ganja. Straightforward, straight up. Rather on it. Be serious, man.
All right, man.
Okay? All right, so then.
All right, well, let's see what we see after we come back. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after.
BritK protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10. On sale now at caymancarifta2019.ky. See you at the games.
Carifta 2019, brought to you in partnership with the Cayman Islands Government and CUC. Sponsored by the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, DART, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, and Radio Cayman.
It's all about unity and together.
Hello, I'm Joseph Woods, the Acting Port Director. Our port facility is the hub of the Cayman Islands commerce and economic activity, handling $658 million in imported goods annually. From groceries to construction materials, all sectors of our economy depend on the port. But it is now 40 years old. Its infrastructure is degrading, and we feel the strain from insufficient space for both cargo and cruise operations. The time is now. A new expanded port facility is needed to allow both cargo and cruise to operate efficiently and to support our island's continued growth and development. Support the port, support our tourism, support Cayman's continued growth and development.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, Mr. Dwayne.
Hey, how are you, man?
Right here, man. I know I had to follow up on my friend, Rambo,
Yeah, man, of course.
Rambo in Dolph Lundgren. That's who me calling. What? No, but it's something I gotta say, right? That, okay, you see what happened in the 1930s with the ganja, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing is happening again in England, It's something called KHAT, I believe it is. CAT, or something like that. It comes from Ghana, right? And England right now is trying to make that illegal, right? You don't smoke it or anything, you chew it and spit it out, and you're supposed to get charged up, right? So they making it illegal based on that it funds the Al-Shabaab, the terrorist group in Africa, And you can look this up all right now, and you can see what they're trying to do. The Al-Shabaab group, the terrorists, or the black Al-Qaeda, African Al-Qaeda, or Taliban, they kill you if they catch you chewing this stuff, So how this funds the terrorists? How this will be funding the terrorists if if you can't chew it or sell it or anything when you're in the Taliban?
Mm-hmm. Right.
This is England, This is England trying to do this again, discriminating again against black people again.
Is it then? I was just trying to find something someone sent me in relation to some of the history of it, and I probably should go and read it, but I just didn't. And it was looking at the use in Canada specifically, and it was a comment by someone. I remember scanning the article, or sort of the precursor to the article in a sense, and there was this fair, if I remember correctly, that was it last year in August when I was there, it was legalized. All of a sudden you would see everybody lighting up everywhere, and apparently that didn't. It was just a day came and went, no big deal. And then when one of the sort of articles within the article, as it were, indicated that when you look at the sort of socio-demographic profile, that it is this mixed sort of cross-section of community, primarily a lot of professionals, except in the indigenous areas where tobacco is still more heavily favored. Now, don't know much about it, so I filed it away to speak to some other people. With that in mind, and what I'm asking is, we see the history from the U.S. perspective and what you're sharing, with respect to black people, and even from, is that still the mindset and the mentality you think relative to how the British and therefore Cayman would view legalizing or not?
Right, because who the closest black people we got to us?
West Wales?
West
No,
is the Jamaicans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the Jamaicans, they did that. I mean, we took it on specifically to limit the wealth and the growth of Jamaica. That's exactly what's going on. And you can see, right, in the documentary with this cat thing, right? They went to the legal source. They got legal shipping from Ghana that they've been shipping over to England 300 years and it's still going. The illegal guy, the black market guy, he say he's waiting for them to make it illegal. Right? So this is why I try and show you it's a big scam. They know they're supposed to be looking out for pedophiles and money launderers and people that are just, doing stuff that hurts not just one or two people but the whole community. They don't like to put any pressure on them. But you see us now, the little ones with a little bit of Jamaican in our blood or in our mind, they want to call us dope heads. Now I had one argument with one fisherman today, but I'm a dope head. And I tell him straight, I say, boy, I'd rather smell like dope than fish every day. You understand? Because I don't know which part he get to, disgrace me. I not say nothing to nobody, but that's how they like to treat you.
So, if I may then, we look at two people, let's say. Two people go to work, they take a lunch break, one comes back smelling of alcohol and maybe stumbling, stuttering, another comes back with the smell of ganja. I think there used to be a distinct smell that ganja had, right? Like tobacco and so on. So the next one, the other one comes back with the smell of ganja, maybe a little bit smiling, maybe a little bit docile. How do you think the employer would look at both of those employees and the co-workers as well?
They would have, no joke, I don't see, you can't go to work, hi.
Okay.
You can't go to work, hi, and you can't go to work, Joe.
Right.
I could never agree to anybody going and smoking and getting high like that.
Yeah.
No. That would be definitely you could get fired.
No, I agree with you, but sorry if I didn't, don't mean to cut you, but if I didn't ask it properly. Well, I'm saying if two co-workers, right, or two workers, whether they work with the same company or not, one comes back from the lunch, had a beer, wine, a scotch, or whatever it is, and you can smell alcohol, because you can smell it. Or the next one comes back, but you can smell strong ganja smell on the person. How do you think the fellow co-workers, the customers, the boss will look at each one? Would look at them the same as being,
No. They would almost take the employee to have a beer. They would probably buy him a beer. You understand? But
right.
You see, through the ganja being illegal and through it being something for black people, that definitely not going to swing with any employer. Just through it being illegal and through the lies that they told about it. Oh well, you're always stuttering or you're always messing up when you're high and this and that. But the studies prove that after you smoke, you're actually more focused.
Okay. I again, maybe it's something that I probably need to read, but what I've found though is reading some of the stuff. It's almost maliciously slated to either give you a perspective that is inaccurate. Some is pro and some is very negative. And I start having.
What you think that is? What you think that is because this is very detrimental to the corporation families.
Mm-hmm.
They can't win, and they don't like to see somebody getting ahead by not doing as much as what they do.
Yeah, man. Well, it is something, you know, and if you'll allow me, let's pick it up again later on, unless there's something pressing that you want to share as we go to the news.
No, just last thing I want to say, I'm proud. I'm proud when they call me a dopehead, because you know what? You can't call me no rapist, you can't call me no thief, you can't call me none of that. But a dopehead, I'll take that name any day.
Well, I think the perspective is, you know, I hear what you're saying. You know, that is certainly better than being called, like you said, you know, a thief or something worse. Hey, thanks very, very much for that, man. Let's pause and take a break. When we come back, please rejoin us, maybe an opportune time, as we have a great segue into the next discussion relative to second chances, as we welcome the Honorable Deputy Governor to our studio.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Department of Environment is urging grocery stores to pull certain bags of Pillsbury flour off the shelves after a salmonella scare. An alert has been issued by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration concerning Hometown Food Company's recall of its Pillsbury unbleached all-purpose 5-pound flour. The product may be contaminated with the salmonella bacteria. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, the European Union will only agree to a short delay to Brexit if MPs approve the current withdrawal agreement next week, Theresa May has been told. EU Council President Donald Tusk said an extension requested by the Prime Minister today was possible. Mrs. May has written to Mr. Tusk requesting a Brexit delay to June 30th, saying she needed more time to get her withdrawal deal passed by MPs. A bus carrying 51 school children has allegedly been hijacked by its driver and set alight near Milan in Italy. The driver was quoted as saying by Italian police, "No one will survive." However, the children, some of them tied up, were rescued through smashed windows at the back of the bus and no one was badly hurt. 14 people suffered smoke inhalation. And 4 men have been arrested in South Korea accused of secretly filming 1,600 hotel room guests and selling the footage via a website. Mini cameras were installed in TVs, hairdryer holders and sockets. The men allegedly earned $6,200. If convicted, they face up to 10 years in prison. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Advance Automotive introduces the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Built on the legacy of the most dependable full-size pickups on the road, the Silverado offers enhanced aerodynamics and a more muscular presence. Life's more fun with a truck. Get the perfect balance between work and play with the Colorado. Sand, asphalt, or mud. You can't go wrong with the most capable off-road truck in its class. Visit the Advance Automotive showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or AdvanceChevrolet.com. Don't just drive the road, live it.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands Participation Program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us as we had a chance now to speak about a wonderful new initiative. We have the great company of the Honorable Deputy Governor, and together with the Chief Officer and Administrator of the Portfolio Civil Service, Mr. Franz Manderson and Ms. Gloria McField.
Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. I must share, having you guys join the studio from time to time really brightens up the place. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, and good afternoon to our listening audience.
It is something that I share often and I trust properly and sufficiently. This is a small place but has incredible access to its leadership. Sir, not just because you're a senior in the civil service, but because you are who you are. I would love to see that extended more to the private sector through its different organizations, come into the media like our government, elected and appointed, saying, hey, listen, we're doing this thing, maybe it's the banking sector, introducing some program, not just a press release. So the public get a chance to appreciate it. His Excellency just came on prior and said, listen, the royals are coming to visit. We want you to know. He could have summoned someone else, dispatched anyone else, but not just the importance, but perhaps the personal appeal to the public. I thought that was commendable.
Yeah, and I think it's the Caymanian way to engage, and we love to stop and chat and have a conversation, and being accessible to the public is part of being a good civil servant. So I enjoy it. It's good to hear things, the feedback, when it's good, when it's not so good, but it's we have to listen. So I'm always happy to engage.
Something I think that we've all heard our mothers in particular say, when you hear it from the horse's mouth, it's not a derogatory term. You're hearing it straight from that source.
Exactly.
And it's it's important, right?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, how many times have we been in the supermarkets, for instance, and especially our elderly ladies, very gently but very convincingly, put their hand on your arm and stop and say, "No, Sonny, listen. You make sure you tell your mama."
Yes.
And they ask you. That is how we do it, and I think that's how we should continue. It's not offensive. It's not to affront anybody. And likewise, just as His Excellency came, I think both of your attendants now talking about this program itself speaks to its important. But equally, it speaks to what we as a community may have been asking for. Well, could we do something? What can we do? Perhaps we find out that it's not as easy. It takes a little while. It's not the bureaucracy. It's the logistics. I like baking cakes, but it takes a while to put the ingredients and get it in the oven, and then it has to cool. Unless you just take a fork off, it comes out. That's another story. So, second chances. I understand this initiative is being called.
Right.
Very appropriate.
So, we have, from time to time, heard about the revolving door at our prison, where our young men and young women are coming out, and in too short of a time, they're back in. They are becoming recidivists. Our recidivism rate is way too high. So we want to be part of the solution. It's easy to complain. It's easy to criticize. We in the civil service believe that we should be part of the solution. We should be leading in the way in which we deal with all our HR issues and our innovation and caring for our community, for our fellow Caymanians. So we have put together a program where persons who have committed a crime, who have been to prison, who have shown that they have a proven track record of wanting to turn their life around, we can take them into the civil service and offer them meaningful employment. And I'll ask the Chief Officer, Ms. Nixon, to give a bit more details. But I just want to say that we have received a tremendous amount of support from the elected government immediately when Ms. Nixon went to last year to look at the budget. The moment she spoke, it was agreed. Everybody saw this from the premier down in the room, saw this as a really great opportunity for us to address a huge problem. So we have done this in the past. We have taken on persons with convictions in the past, but we have never had a structured program where we are actually targeting persons, where we have a bespoke budget, and where we are doing exactly what we're doing now, promoting the program. So the private sector has done it from time to time. We now want to take it to another level. We in the civil service really believe we can be world-class, and this is part of us becoming a world-class civil service in that we are leaving no one behind. We're giving everyone an opportunity to turn themselves around.
It's often said, and perhaps we don't recognize in this repetition, that there by the grace of God go I.
Right.
And recognizing that it could be just an errant act on some part.
Exactly. And I think what everyone needs to realize is that these persons are us. Okay, these are Caymanians. They are not going anywhere. They are not leaving Cayman. But in fact, some of them can't leave Cayman because of the convictions that they have. So they can't get a visa. It's very difficult for them to travel. So these are our families, our friends, our neighbors. Let us be part of the solution. And we have seen already some tremendous successes. And we think this is a program that can really be a game changer in terms of reducing recidivism, but also giving our young people an opportunity to turn themselves around.
Well, I certainly believe there's something. I mean, for any one of us to have either served as what was then in the panel of prison inspectors way back when, to those who participate in prison ministry or other aspects in visiting better literacy programs, you see some not only phenomenal talent within the prison, but we see sadly in the eyes of some sense of hopelessness. You know, their third or fourth trip back there, they become like caged birds. You know, even the doors are open, they probably won't know where to go when it's time to roost. We need to change that. We need to give them an opportunity. Doesn't excuse the behavior. Just says, you know what, here's a second chance, a third chance.
Agreed.
So, Ms. Gloria, from that perspective, how does the program, work? When is it started? How does it? I have a zillion questions. I try to limit them because it's exciting.
Yes, it is exciting.
And that's the way we feel about it as well. There's a great deal of excitement amongst the team that has been a part of bringing this program to fruition. As the Deputy Governor has mentioned, when we were just looking at it conceptually and we were going to the government, we were just, so overwhelmed about the support that was provided to this program, even at that conceptual stage. In terms of the team who has really been responsible for giving this program shape, our HR community has really leaned into the opportunity to be a part of this project, because we've talked about it not just in terms of, here's another project for us to deliver, but we talked about it in terms of the broader mission. This is about making sure that we could be a part of full employment for Caymanians and also be a part of the government strategy to reduce crime and the fear of crime. So when we talk about these types of broad sweeping strategies, HR doesn't always see how they could be a part of it. So this program really gave them an opportunity to be a part of something that was bigger than themselves, bigger than our organization. And they really were excited for that opportunity. The Second Chances program is something that we're doing in partnership with other government agencies that are really in this space to try to rehabilitate persons who had, convictions and were, serving out sentences, to make sure that that wasn't the defining moment of their lives. The Second Chances program gives them an opportunity to redefine who they are and to start talking about, looking forward to the future instead of looking back at a mistake that they made.
Takes away an excuse, huh?
Yes.
I can't get a job because I have a conviction. Nobody wants to hire me. Exactly. Well, what are you doing? You're trying to better yourself.
Right. And so that very first issue that is often a negative is actually the starting point for can you apply for this program. So you've had to have a conviction, right? You've had to have served a sentence. And that's usually the thing that people say, I can't get a job because. And we go, well, actually, that makes you eligible, right? But there are other things that we're looking for. Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. As you have the chance to talk about second chances.
I have a second chance. Thank you. So, we ask them, to your point, what are you doing with the time that you've had? You've made a mistake but what have you done since? And so we're really looking for people who've demonstrated that they're committed to really, being able to turn their lives around. So, are these individuals who are participating in training opportunities that are provided while they're incarcerated? Are these people who've taken, advantage of programs to perhaps do work release while they're in prison so that they're able to work, and gain skills and demonstrate their commitment? Are these individuals who, upon being released, have done positive things in their communities? Some of the candidates that have put themselves forward have done things like volunteered. They weren't being paid, but they were still committed about making sure they were positively contributing to society. And so they had really strong references from people that they had worked with, members of the community, who've said, I can see a change in this person. I'm telling you, if you give this individual a chance, they're going to really contribute not just to your workplace, but they're ready to, make contributions to society.
Yeah, and as I listen to the notion that sometimes it takes unfortunate acts to at least in our perspective, get someone to wake up. You know, you're a group of young men, respectfully, out hanging out one evening, and someone passes if you love to say, a joint around, or you end up a little bit, too much libation, and next thing you know, a window is broken, you're smashed, you're caught up, you're before the courts, and there you are, in the prison. Why let that be the sort of...
Exactly. Listen, we all make mistakes, and we all deserve a second chance. The Bible talks about forgiveness, and we are a God-fearing island. We should be forgiving people, giving people another opportunity. And I just really want to thank Ms. Gloria and her team in the Portfolio Civil Service for really showing a lot of passion and commitment to this. And we've already had some amazing successes. So I'll ask Ms. Gloria to tell you about that as well.
Yeah. Success, I think, is always, and when you think about it, Mr. Manderson, we always make mistakes. That's why some of us get married twice, So it's like, oh, she's like, oh, come on, it's a wins. I'm practicing for my comedy routine, for my next job. He's like, oh, it's not fun. No, but the successes that we had so far, been telling, huh?
Yeah, so we've had in our 2019 cohort, we have the opportunity to support 5 persons through this program. And we're really looking at finding individuals who've done the sorts of things that I've spoken about before, but we're also looking at what sort of skills they have, and then going into the departments to find out where we can find jobs that match up with those skills, and also find a workplace that is committed to creating the type of environment where someone can really, thrive and turn their lives around. So, it's been both interviewing the individuals, but also a bit of interviewing the departments to make sure we've had committed leadership in those agencies. And when we were giving an update just yesterday, we were talking about having had 3 persons that have been successfully appointed through this process. We're now up to 4.
Hey.
So we have, and I really want to just acknowledge the work of those departments as well. Their leadership has really been forward-thinking. We now have Public Works having accepted their second candidate. We have Department of Environmental Health that I think has the fastest record in terms of their ability to make that offer commit and get someone into the organization. So they've done a stellar job. And we've also had General Registry come on board as part of this program, really making sure that we're able to offer a diversity of roles as well.
And the thing, when we look at sometimes the people that are incarcerated, various skill sets. It's not just
some of the best work that I've seen have been done by people in Northwood Prison. When I visit the prison and I see that this barber shop has been constructed and the quality of work, or some of the benches and all the things that is made there, it's amazing. So the skill sets are there. We just have to give the persons an opportunity to put those skills to use. We are putting a lot of effort into training at the prison as well. So this is all part of the solution.
Right. From that perspective, then, if we may ask, the individuals who would be selected, a couple of things. Obviously, there's the criteria that we'll re-emphasize going forward, but presently, is it that the applicant has to be incarcerated or has to be now been released after being incarcerated? Just for clarity.
So we're looking for persons who have been released or are about to be released as candidates for the program. I mean, there are other programs in place, and we've talked about, people that might have like a day release programs where they go out to work and then they return to the prisons. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for transitions into being able to have gainful employment after their release. And what I can say is that we have, even with the 4 candidates, there's been, diverse experience in terms of one individual who, because they participated in a work release program where they were working in a department while they were still incarcerated, they performed so well that the department said, look, upon your release, I'll be prepared through the Second Chances program to offer you employment. And so that person went from being released from prison on a Friday and being in the workplace on the Monday, right? There's other situations where individuals had been out of prison and had been seeking a job for some time, but because of the stigma associated with them having, been incarcerated, they just found it very difficult to be able to get a job, and they were becoming, very discouraged in that process.
And we recognize too that employers as well as possible co-workers as well as clients may have, well, I don't really want to deal with this person who, sadly, the community being small, we may have known to have been incarcerated prior, without even giving them that chance to say, well, what are your skill sets, your competencies? We maybe see the product if we don't know who's performed the job. From the perspective, though, of the person who is still incarcerated and looking to be able to benefit from this program, how is the person selected? Is it through the prison staff? Can the person apply independent and say, listen, I'm going to be here for the next 6 months, or I'm getting out in the next 6 weeks or 6 years, whatever the case may be, but I want a second chance, this is not the life I want. Can that person put his or her name forward, or is it for the...
So again, it was really important for us as we were bringing this program to life that we didn't waste time and resources trying to reinvent the wheel. There are some excellent government programs in place, and so our job was really to connect the dots and be able to grease the wheel as opposed to reinventing it. So what that meant for us is that we worked with both the prison in terms of trying to understand what are some of the programs you have in place, how are you supporting people so that they can make that transition upon being released, so that they can demonstrate their rehabilitation. And then we have excellent partners in organizations like the NWDA, which is now part of the work department. And the NWDA is really that clearinghouse for jobs where individuals are able to register who are looking for jobs. So we went and worked with them, and when you go onto the NWDA's portal, so www.nwda.gov.ky, when you're looking at the programs, the first program you're going to experience is the Second Chances program. And it is through that job portal that you're able to express your interest for being considered for the Second Chances program. And they do the first sifting to be able to look at that person's application, to make sure that they are someone who's actually eligible, to make sure that they're someone who has demonstrated they're committed to rehabilitation, and that they have positive references that we could share with our departments who are prepared to offer opportunities.
I would then imagine that whether it's the individual, whether it's a family member, whether it's someone through the church, the ministry, so the prisons ministry, anybody else in the community is interested, knows of someone, can say, if you don't know this program, become aware of it. Here's a program that you might be able to benefit, whether the person is recently released, been released for a while, whether the person is incarcerated, to be able to say, at least bring this program to their attention to see whether they will be eligible. Hopefully through this discussion, we start to appreciate that some of us, we have direct family members who are just sitting there, not feeling productive, feeling a bit discouraged and, sort of aimless.
It's important to provide persons with hope, right? Because if you have no hope that you're going to become a productive member of society, if you don't feel that the government, the civil service cares, then what's your purpose then? You feel like, okay, let me just go back to doing what I was doing before. So we have put a lot of things in place. The government has worked very hard over the last 2 to 3 years, putting in a number of laws and regulations to ensure that persons don't lose that hope. So if you look at but let me just start with the conditional release law, which was put in place. And what our research has shown us very clearly is that when persons are released from prison, the longer they are kept under supervision, so somebody's checking with them, they're in employment, they're making sure that they're not using illegal drugs, perhaps they're staying in a halfway home. The longer they're under that type of supervision, the less chance of them becoming a recidivist, because they get into the lifestyle of going straight and narrow. So when the conditional release law was passed, it means that if you get sentenced to 10 years imprisonment, you serve the full 10 years. Now, you will do 60% in prison, and then if you are released, then the remainder of your sentence you serve under supervision. So it's a much longer period, but again, a greater chance of turning the person around. Then we looked at the criminal record spent convictions law. So how many of our friends have come to us and said, when I was 19 years old, I did something really stupid. I have this conviction. I went to jail for 3 years. I'm now 40 years old. I am a total, I've turned my life around, but I can't get this conviction off my record. That law now provides for a committee to review. There's a crime-free period, and that person will can get their conviction removed from their police record. And that's happening now. That is up and running. We've had numerous persons come make applications, and the board has actually expunged some of their convictions, which means, again, we removed another barrier to employment, to travel, to being a productive citizen. And now we have our Second Chances program. So all of this is all designed for one thing, giving Caymanians opportunities to become productive citizens and enjoy the great things that Cayman has to offer. Right. So I'm really pleased to see where we're going. I thank the government for their support. Passing these laws sometimes have not been popular, but for example, the conditional release law means people are not going to spend more time in prison, 60%. But it also going to mean that we're going to have a much greater chance of them not becoming a recidivist, because while they're in prison, they can be, given whatever assistance they needed, whether it's training, counseling, whatever. And then when they come out, again, they're under supervision. So. And as we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. We recognize, too, that there is this perception, perhaps there's some sense of reality to it. Many of the prisoners who return to prison, some will share, I have a particular health need, and so in order to get coverage, I commit a crime to get in there to get the health care. With this Second Chances program, through employment, that may move that burden, and they still get the care without the need to be incarcerated.
Absolutely. You're a civil servant. You get all the benefits of being a civil servant. And you support your family. And you're there with your family. You're not removed from society.
And you feel valued.
And you feel valued and proud.
Yeah. If we could ask to the listening public who would say, well, yeah, that's all sounds good, but what safeguards to ensure that not any and everybody, that the people that are being released actually are deserving.
And like I said, I commend Ms. McField Nixon and her team, because that's one of the things that they pay close attention to. So we want to make sure that the person has had a proven track record of good behavior. So trying to do the best that they can do. We're we need to be open and honest about this. If you have been convicted of fraud, we're not going to put you in a position where you can, where there's the temptations to do that again, because we have to safeguard the public purse. But again, we have to give these persons as best an opportunity as possible, and I think that's what this program achieves.
With great respect, would there be any sort of other limitations on relative to, say, the type of crime the person may have committed?
Whenever we're placing individual, and this is regardless of whether they have a conviction or not, when we're talking about persons working with vulnerable persons, we're always going to have higher scrutiny that's going to happen to that in that situation. What I can also say is that if you look at our systems, right, the Deputy Governor talks about conditional release. Part of that is an assessment of whether this person poses a low or high risk of reoffending. Of course we look at that, and that's one of the conditions for them even being allowed to be out of prison. So there's an awful lot of scrutiny that happens already. And, when we were looking at sort of what are the risks associated, because there are so many systems that are already scrutinizing, persons who have been incarcerated, we were really talking about what sort of scrutiny are we given to the type of environment that's going to motivate someone to act differently, not the type of scrutiny that we're given that might keep someone out of the workplace, because there's an awful lot of resources that are put into should we even let them out. We were trying to talk about, if we let them in, how do we maximize the opportunity for them to thrive? And that's why we're talking about spending time in the departments to find out what kind of roles do you have, what kind of skills do you have. And a big part of this is to make sure that connection has been made. So they interview with that department the way any other candidate interviews. They have an opportunity for that individual to be vetted by the department and be allowed in as part of that process to make sure that their skills are one that's in demand within the department.
So just for emphasis, so that I don't misunderstand, we're talking not so much about the act that caused the person to be incarcerated. as much as we're talking about the potential that this person is at a lower risk of reoffending, so to speak. And
that also speaks to the act, right? So when we're talking about reoffending, it's about what was the offense, and is there a risk that that person might create, that situation again? Have they demonstrated that they have changed their behaviors and that they are ready to be a productive member of society? So, the deputy governor has said we wouldn't put someone back, or put someone in a situation where it might create a high risk. So we are looking at the way that we place individuals that way. But a big part of it is about being positive and talking about how might someone be able to use their skill sets in a way that helps society.
Indeed. Well, when we come back from the break, I guess one of the things that would tie in nicely would be the idea that the spent convictions legislation already has in place safeguards to say, well, if your offence is this, then it doesn't qualify, as it were. All right, a few more minutes, and certainly ask you to stay with us as we pause and take a break. It's great to see advertisers being so supportive. If they want the widest coverage and the best, audience and listeners, well, really came on as the only place to advertise. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. We're talking to the Honourable Deputy Governor and Chief Officer, Ms. Gloria Nixon, about a new program called Second Chances. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
K-Man, let's recycle together. It's time for our annual Yellow to Green recycling program. Please collect and drop off old dry directories today. Yellow to Green recycling bins are now located at multiple convenient locations: Foster's IGA locations, Hurley Supermarket, Yellow, and participating primary schools. Thank you for supporting the Yellow to Green recycling program, turning old directories into reusable materials. Community program is happening now until March 31st. For more information, please visit findyellow.com.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, K-Man's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with K-Man's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
The Cayman Brac Agriculture Show Committee presents the 16th annual Cayman Brac Agriculture Show, Saturday, March 23rd from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the Agriculture Grounds of Songbird Drive on the Bluff. Tons of fun for the entire family. Animals, antiques, art and craft displays. Only $8 entrance fee. Children 4 to 10 years old, $4, and free for children 3 and under. Raffle tickets are $10 and include entry for a grand prize of $2,000 US among others. Travel from Grand Cayman is a breeze with extra same-day flights on Cayman Airways. Check them out on Facebook at Brac Agriculture Show. Don't miss the annual Cayman Brac Agriculture Show, Saturday, March 23rd.
Loose change may not seem like much to you in the moment, but it can sure add up to a lot. Last year, the Meals on Wheels coin drive helped to deliver over 6,000 nutritious hot meals thanks to your generous donations and the awesome volunteers. So please, gather up your loose change or whatever you can afford to donate when you see Meals on Wheels volunteers stationed around Grand Cayman on March 22nd and 23rd and join Meals on Wheels, Davenport Development and Radio Cayman in the fight to end senior hunger in the Cayman Islands. Visit mealsonwheels.ky to sign up today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. As we talk about the Second Chances program, a new program that is set up to assist Caymanians, who have a prior conviction to sort of not only get back into the workforce, but be able to understand that they still have a meaningful contribution to make to society. We have the Honorable Deputy Governor and Chief Officer, Ms. Gloria Nixon, as our guest. And I think, if it was us, I can imagine the person listening realize that, they may be 60 or 70 years old now that may have spent some limited time in prison for some act. If that program was available back then, what would it be like for them now?
Yes.
It's never too late.
Never too late. And I think, again, we want to be part of the solution. I'm so happy to hear that we have now gotten 4. I'm hoping that this program is oversubscribed, and it puts us in a position where we have to try to scrounge around and find a bit more money. I'm not saying we will.
I like to
but
say
that's
that.
a good problem. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And because again, when persons, like I said, feel valued, feel appreciated, and they can be, work, give their employer an honest day's work and go home with money to feed their families. That is something that sometimes we take for granted. But some people have just not been able to do it for various reasons. We've put all of these barriers in front of them. So there's no downside to this. We are giving our people an opportunity, and as a government, that's what we are supposed to do, give our people opportunities.
Well, I think, and please, just observations so guide me. As we drive about, ride our bikes, we walk, we exercise, or what have you, about our communities, we're seeing increasingly more and more of our young men, and sadly, some of our young ladies, congregating at certain places that, while we're out for lunch, or maybe when we're dropping their children home from school, in the the productive part of the day, and we wonder, why is that person? And sometimes we don't even recognize. Sometimes we actually know the person. It's a family member. It's a neighbor's child. And maybe we might know that. Oh yeah, he was in jail for so and so. Well, young, healthy, should be able to do something, right?
Right. So my message is simple: give yourself another opportunity. Give yourself, step up, and give yourself another opportunity to be a productive citizen, to give back to your country. When you're working in a civil service, you have this amazing opportunity to not just do things for yourself, but for other people as well. We are serving our islands, our country, our government. That is something to be proud of. I'm proud to be a civil servant. I'm proud to be the deputy governor, to lead such an amazing organization. So let us all come together and let's make some special things happen. So we got 4 Caymanians now. Let's get the 5th one and let's continue the program.
And I would just say that part of the value, I think, of having this conversation is that as the largest single employer, in the Cayman Islands, we hope to also be a catalyst. And we know that there are many organizations in the private sector who already step up. And we have examples, and some of them have shared their stories. But I think, being an employer that cares, it is part of that is demonstrated in your ability to look at your community and to be prepared to give people second chances. And I think that is something that government is now, through another program demonstrating its commitment in this area. But I would also challenge my colleagues in the private sector to share those stories about how they are also making opportunities available. And if they're not, perhaps thinking about how they could.
Yeah. If I may, respectfully, perhaps just ask, first off, this is the Cayman Islands, so presumably on Grand Cayman as well as on the BRAC, this program is available to all.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, it's a civil service.
It's a civil service.
So it's only one civil service, and that's in all 3 islands.
All 3 islands, yeah. So just sometimes I I'm mindful to remind people that.
Yeah, I mean, the only restriction that we have on it is that you must be a Caymanian. That's it. It applies throughout the entire civil service, both on all 3 islands.
Yeah. And the other thing that we wanted to ask, in sort of preparing for this program, we had a few people that we sort of have been struggling, come out of prison, they get a job for a while, and then, something happens, they're back in prison or they get fired. A couple of individuals have shared, literally 2 people, shared that they tend to engage in behavior that right now is illegal. And the employer knows that, so the employer order a random drug test. One instance that the fellow shared with a question, that drug test is coming up, he's going to be positive to test for, cannabis, and felt that, it's sometimes stigmatized. No, he doesn't make an apology for it. He doesn't say that, what he's doing is wrong. But it just means that, Monday morning after a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we have to decide what's more important to us, right? It's as simple as that. So, for me, the most important thing right now is a job that I'm going to be able to support my family. That's the most important thing to me now. I understand clearly that my job says that I should not consume illegal drugs. So I am not going to consume illegal drugs because I am aware of the consequences. So, my message to that person is just concentrate on what's the most important thing. And, I have never heard anyone say, the key to my success was using drugs, right? I mean, I've never heard anyone say that. I've heard a lot of people say the key to my success has been hard work, dedication, commitment to my family, all of those things. So it's just really, you have to make, these things are not easy. So I understand people must like to smoke ganja. I have never done it, so I don't know what they're talking about. But there's a time for everything, and if you want to be a good employer, then stop doing drugs. Until the government changes a law or whatever. If it's illegal, don't do it.
U.S. President Clinton said what he smoked but didn't hear. So I don't know how that works. You know what? Wednesday, man brings up the jest. We do have, I believe, Ms. Susan, you see a caller. We're speaking to the Honorable Deputy Governor and Ms. Gloria Nixon. Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today. Afternoon.
Hello?
How are you?
Darling?
Yes, Mom.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon
Good
to
afternoon.
you.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to the Deputy Governor, Mr. Manderson, and to Ms. The Chief Officer, Ms. Nixon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hello, Ma'am. Hello, Ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I love to hear good people talking all the time, Good and very sensible people.
Yes, Mom. Thank you.
I have one question.
Yes.
When you talk about the second chance, would that also imply or be okay? It doesn't matter which department that someone is in government, but something happened, and then could they also get a second chance?
So are you saying that if somebody did something while they were in the civil service and they got fired, for example, will we give them another chance? Is that what you're saying, Mom?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, this program is geared at persons who have barriers to employment in terms of convictions. So we haven't really looked at that particular area. I mean, we have fired persons, and a few years later, they can prove that they have addressed those concerns. We have taken them back. I don't think we would ever stop doing that. But this particular program is not geared at those persons.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Yes, Ma'am.
And continue doing all the good work that you all are doing.
Thank you very much, Ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good afternoon. We also have a question, Mr. Manderson, or a statement almost that it seems almost too easy in this country to get a police record. Behaviors that we do then quickly, end up in prison, and you have this black mark on your police record. I know. Absolutely.
And I mean, just this morning we were with the police, and we passed a adults caution law 6 to 8, maybe a year ago. And they were giving us an update on that, and it's actually working. So they have now cautioned persons that for offenses that would have not been on their police record. So that is, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but there have been a number of people who they have arrested for, schedule. There's a schedule of offenses in which can attract a caution, and again, based on the particular situation, based on the offense, they have been able to give them a caution, which again is not a criminal conviction.
But the caution stays there with them?
The caution is there for a while, so people, you know it, but again, you don't have this barrier again for employment. But you do understand that if you commit another offense, whatever, then you can go to, you can be sent to court. At immigration, customs, or whatever, we are also looking at administrative fines, where persons can be fined rather than taken to court. So I think the government is doing as much as it possibly can to ensure that the days of persons getting arrested for a small quantity of ganja and that destroying their life for many years, that those things can be addressed quickly, so that we don't have these barriers to employment, barriers to travel, barriers to live a productive life.
All right. Well, when we come back, respectfully, certainly appreciate the extended time. Sure. Get a chance to repeat some more about the second chances and show how this can be immensely beneficial to the wider community.
And we also want to talk about a big event that we're having tomorrow night, which is our Employee of the Year. So
there you go.
We certainly want to talk about that for a few minutes.
Wow. See that? Good stuff. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
This Easter weekend, the Cayman Islands will welcome the rest of the Caribbean, and you do not want to miss it. Carifta 2019 takes place at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex from April 20th to 22nd. Watch the region's most talented track and field athletes compete and come cheer on your Cayman athletes. Get ready to raise your flags at the Caribbean's biggest athletic event this Easter weekend. It's Carifta 2019. Tickets start as low as $10. On sale now at CaymanCarifta2019.ky. See you at the games.
Carifta 2019, brought to you in partnership with the Cayman Islands Government and CUC. Sponsored by the Cayman Islands Athletic Association, DART, Maples Group, Pinnacle Media, and Radio Cayman.
It's all about unity, together.
Hello, I am Noel March, a small business owner in Georgetown for over 20 years. Small businesses depend on government to develop a quality infrastructure and environment that encourages entrepreneurs to create and grow local businesses, resulting in the creation of jobs and prosperity for Caymanians. Small businesses help drive our economy. Just as we have supported building the new airport, we must support the building of the new cargo and cruise port. It will give our tourism industry the opportunity to grow and Caymanian entrepreneurs the chance to shine. Support the port. Support our tourism.
Save time, don't stand in line. You can apply for or renew your trade and business license online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just visit dci.gov.ky and click on the Trade and Business Online application link. Now, you don't need to stand in line, take time out of your busy schedule or try to find parking. You can apply for your trade and business license online. Visit dci.gov.ky today and save time for running your business.
Did you know your home is wasting electricity right now? Appliances or electronic devices can use electricity even when they are not in use or switched off. Also known as energy vampires, things like your cable box and microwave are wasting your valuable money. Don't let these devices keep sucking your power. To save money, simply group these devices together on a power strip and turn off the strip when it's not in use. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure's Facebook page for more tips on keeping your home energy efficient. Be an energy advocate.
Michelle T. album launch, Blessings All Over Me. Sunday, March 31 at Light of the World Christian Fellowship, featuring Rising Stars Dance Ministry, Georgia Isaacs, DC Praise, Williams Quartet, Women of Purpose, Roderick Brown, Sister Opal, and Second Chance. Admission is $20 with a complimentary CD and a chance to win 2 passes to the Memorial Gospel Fest in West Palm Beach. Get your tickets at J&M Electronics, Famous Restaurant, and Funky Tangs. Blessings all over me. Come celebrate the Michelle T album launch. Sunday, March 31 at Light of the World Christian Fellowship, Smith Road. Doors open at 6 p.m. Showtime, 6:30. Sponsored by Kmart Hair and Beauty Supply and Majestic Meals.
Headlines.
With the latest headlines.
Headlines.
All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio K-Man for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of K-Man's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Headlines.
Turning to international news. Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio K-Man News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Money Sense, bringing an informed financial perspective to the Cayman community. Brought to you by the CFA Society Cayman Islands and sponsored by One Trade X. Join Money Sense Thursday, 7:30 a.m. as we discuss ethics, dilemmas, and conflicts of interest in the investment world. We'll be joined by Dr. Michael McMillan, who is responsible for developing educational content for investment professionals in the area of ethics and professional standards. Money Sense, the only personal finance radio show in the Cayman Islands. Brought to you with the support of One Trade X.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us in a few extra moments with the Honorable Deputy Governor and Ms. Gloria Nixon as we talk about phenomenal program, Second Chances. With great respect, we have another caller. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, hello. Sir, this is me.
Yes, sir. Welcome, and thanks again.
Yeah, sir, and I will contribute this afternoon back again, right, on this topic.
Yeah, man.
Right. I hope they can you understand me? I talk fast enough.
Yes, sir.
Well, if they can understand me, you'll be easy, man.
More like that. We're all locals. This whole initiative, right, it's a good cause, right, because when you hold in captivity, right, and when you come out, you feel like an outcast, right, a third-class citizen, right, and self-assassinate properly, right.
Yes,
this whole considered terror, that's the whole perspective of Second Chance, right. So the content of the plan, a plan in the long term, who could better life,
yes, sir.
Who will matriculate into tertiary education, right, and who have good hands in constructive things.
Yes.
And a good cause.
Sir,
right?
thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks much, man.
Thank you.
I think we recognize it. And again, whether it's the second chances, whether we recognize in the continued, sort of service. Don't necessarily say sacrifice, but civil service is important.
Yeah, and I think what the caller said is correct. When people come out, they don't feel valued. They feel like, yes, now I'm a second-class citizen. What this does now is put you in a world-class organization. So you're not you can now become very productive, and you certainly won't feel like a second-class citizen.
Well, you know what? I think everybody recognizes the importance of being, nurtured, mentored, uplifted,
Yes.
encouraged, and if this is just one way that we can remove another impediment, it causes people to feel a sense of value and appreciation. They can contribute. It's for us now to take up the mantle and avail ourselves with opportunities.
Absolutely.
I know you're recognizing the celebration
Yes.
later.
So tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock at the Harkwell, we are having our Employee of the Year award. So for the past, for 2018, we've had 12 civil servants who have won the Employee of the Month, and I have had this very difficult task of trying to decide one. I did take it home, the folder home with me last night and look it over for a couple of hours, and then at 7 o'clock this morning I did it all over again, and I think finally around 9:30 or 10 o'clock I actually was able to make the decision after looking it over. This is a couple of days, because we just had some amazing civil servants who have done a tremendous job for us. I would just like to mention their names real quick. So in January we had Levi Allen, who works at our Public Works Department, who is doing an amazing job as training and development and safety officer over there. He has been working on our apprenticeship program, where we have now, I think, 15 young Caymanians working in the Public Works Department, learning electrical, plumbing, all of different vocational training. That program is said to be one of the best that in the world. We have Shonda Reed, one of my former colleagues at Immigration, who works at the Communications Center. One of the most pleasant and bubbly persons you ever want to meet. She's always smiling. She's always engaging. And, of course, she was given an award for her outstanding providing an outstanding customer service experience. We have Sasha Rankin, a senior labor officer, who does an amazing job for us as labor and pension. She oversees a large portfolio of companies to make sure that they are paying their correct dues to their staff. Does an amazing job, always willing to help her colleagues. Just a fantastic young Caymanian. We have Mitsu Watson Jervis, who works as head of business services and licensing at the Department of Commerce and Investment. Again, we all know Mitzi. Worked for customs for years. Came over now and is doing an amazing job there. And she was given an award for her effective communication. We have Shushan O'Connor, one of my former colleagues from Immigration. She came up with the idea of serving customers at Immigration from 7:30 in the morning. So we started to open the door because we didn't want persons to be in the elements from early. There was a line up there from 7:30 in the morning. So we decided to open the door. And then she went to one of her managers and said, listen, many of the staff are here from 7:30. The people are in the hall from 7:30. Well, why don't we just start tending to customers? And it was a great win for everyone. So now you can go to Immigration from 7:30 in the morning. A lot of people are in and out by 8 o'clock and can carry on, be a productive day. Carol Best Gold, who works with Miss Gloria McField Nixon. She's our strategic HR advisor, does all of this amazing work for our job evaluations. She makes people's lives better in a very fundamental way. And just a fantastic individual, always so very positive. We had Chad Bush, who our Marine Conservation Officer, who risked his life out there for us to protect our environment. He was singled out because he, not part of his job description, but he took part in our turtle rescue program, where he was out there looking for turtle nests. This is late at night, early in the morning. Never asked for any additional reward. Gave up his personal time to be out there to ensure that protect our turtles. Part of our Caymanian tradition. A fantastic young Caymanian. Sophia Wilson Leslie, a probation officer. Her job is about empowering people. So people who have come out of prison, especially women, she's there to empower them, to help them turn their life around, to let them see that there are opportunities, that they build their self-esteem back up. And again, she does an amazing job with that. We have Ryan Ramprasa Singh, who is the head of our Commerce and Investment. His department just won the Top Employer Award for the entire Cayman Islands in the medium category. He does an amazing job. Great engagement scores for his department. Again, a great innovative leader. So he was given an award for exceptional leadership. And then we had wrestler Nayak, Payas the Nayak's son. Again, he works in the Department of Tourism in their IT department, and he has been, again, giving up his free time. Tourism has offices up, all over the world. He's always there making sure that the communication is working. When you need to have a conference call or a video call, that it's working. Again, going above the call and duty. Stefan Johnson, who we all know is our amazing video production specialist, was here many times doing the show here with you. But he did an amazing job covering the arrival of our new governor, just making sure that everything worked very well, making sure that it was a world-class event, and he actually achieved that. And we had last, but in December, Stafford Millward. Again, I'm so happy to see some of my former colleagues here, right? I mean, these are people that I worked with, some of those for many years. Stafford Millward, over at immigration. He is in charge of deportations. That is a very difficult task. You're deporting people who are unscrupulous characters off the island. And he was recently commended by Cayman Airways, their pilots, for how he handled a particular difficult deportation. But again, a fantastic individual. We managed to have 6 females and 6 males, so we are gender balanced. Gender balanced. But you can tell there are some amazing civil servants who have done an amazing job, and now you can see why my job has been so hard to just pick one person. So we look forward to everyone coming out at the Harkwell tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock, so that we can celebrate all 12 of these amazing civil servants.
So it's, an opportunity for the civil service to sort of, put on this red carpet.
This is our Oscars. This is our Oscars.
6 p.m. at the Harkwell.
Yes.
All right, you know what? Some of us may get a chance to leave work a little bit early.
Yeah.
Miss Norma, leave early. She's here forever.
Yes.
No, but I commend, not just the diligence, but that strong commitment and desire within the civil service to excellence. And it means a lot. And, hopefully it's instilled in the wider community that we're going to continue to raise the bar.
Yeah.
So from the Second Chances program to appreciate maybe one of these new entrants through the Second Chances program, who knows where that person may rise.
Wouldn't it be great if one day we're here talking about that person being an employee of the month?
Yep.
It's possible. We have seen it before. So it is something that we need to again, it's an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big believer in you take care of your employees, they will take care of their customers. Mm-hmm. And when persons are going above and beyond the call of duty like this, we have to tell them thank you. We have to showcase our talent. The civil service is full of amazing talent, and it's up to us as the leaders to showcase it. So I am going to continue to do it as much as I possibly can, and I have a great team here at the Portfolio Civil Service who is making it happen.
Indeed. Well, if you want to enjoy the fruit, nurture the tree.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hey, thanks very, very much. As usual, anytime any opportunity arises that you need to, inform the public and engage them, we're more than happy to do so. Mm-hmm. May it be a productive Wednesday afternoon, and enjoy the rest of it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you
Thanks
so much.
For having us.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hey, to our listeners, you want to see what a new coin looks like for Celebrate Cayman? Well, when you come back, we'll talk today.
Radio Cayman. Headline. Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
The 3 men ages 66, 44 and 43 of Jamaica who were arrested on Monday following an interdiction have been formally charged with importation of ganja. One of the men, aged 44, has also been charged with possession of an imitation firearm with intent and reckless and negligent act, and another, aged 43, has been charged with making a threat to kill. They are appearing in court later today. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, a British survivor of the Christchurch shootings has described how he cradled the body of a young woman killed amid the gunfire. Nathan Smith, who converted to Islam after moving to New Zealand 13 years ago, found the woman after he escaped over a wall at the Al Noor Mosque. 50 people died and dozens were hurt in the attack at 2 mosques last Friday. Gunmen have attacked a convoy of trucks carrying uranium fuel to a nuclear power plant near the Brazilian city of Rio de Janeiro. The convoy came under attack as it drove past a community controlled by drug traffickers in Angra dos Reis, a tourist city 90 miles from Rio. Police escorting the convoy responded and a shootout followed. No one was injured or detained. And a billionaire Indian diamond trader whose jewelry was worn by the likes of model Rosie Huntington-Whiteley and actress Priyanka Chopra Jonas has been arrested in the UK. Nirav Modi is wanted for his alleged role in India's largest bank fraud, totaling some $2 billion. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And sometimes, some days, I wonder, man, what it's going to be like when I retire. Well, I just have to get a catboat and go sailing, and I'll miss the good company of all the wonderful guests that we had over the time. With respect to the honourable, governor and the deputy governor and chief officer that we've had prior, I think they'll equally say, "Wow, you saved the best for last." Chance to not only talk about Celebrate Cayman, but to showcase our wonderful coin has been introduced, I guess. Not introduced, but invite perhaps, because she's been here both so often from Celebrate Cayman. That phenomenal graphic artist, Miss Cara. How are you, Mom?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Good to see a fellow SB join you. And from the Monetary Authority, Miss Debbie, welcome, Mom.
Thank you, Mr. Dwayne, for having us.
Oh my, it is a pleasure. And I was joking earlier as I was looking at the coin, and I thought, well, this one is better than the one that it might be for the new Brexit coin with the Queen. It just has a hand held in her hand, right? You've seen that coin? Are they gonna? This car is like no.
Non-committal.
I could probably work on that.
We should.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Oh man! But the thing is, from those collectors to those people who otherwise see the value of commemorating certain things, whether through a stamp, but a coin in particular. I had one long ago, and I reminded that through the errant activities of a young teenager, I was lost to the high seas. Beautiful coin, as it hung gently across my neck, and I played wonderfully in the surf. It disappeared. I could be a poet and didn't even know it. No, but this particular coin, though, I think, as we celebrate Cayman, it has more than just its intrinsic value. Tell us about it, perhaps, Ms. Cara, the importance of it, and then Ms. Debbie, you can get into the actual coin and the like.
Well, as you know, we're celebrating the 60 years of the coat of arms. So this is actually a reissue of the coin, the first coin we did, because that went so fast. Mm-hmm. And we did one minor change on it and one minor amendment. We've made the thatch rope that encases the 60th anniversary logo in gold. Mm-hmm. So that's the major, I guess, change, and the reason why we reissued it, obviously, is because sales went within a day. Mm-hmm. Everything sold within a day, right, Miss Debbie?
Yeah, day and a half.
Day and a half. So it was record breaking. So I think probably all those everyone that bought coins are probably going to jump on this collection as well, so that they have the series of them. But like I said, it all surrounds the celebrating the coat of arms and, what it means to us. And, it's quite a tangent thing to have.
It is indeed. I mean, the notion that a coin has so much. I just read recently what they call now the Cultural Committee of the UK, the citizens living out there, took a tour of the British Museum when they were looking at that currency and the like. And so a small group of individuals, I guess, with the assistance of Miss Kate Kandaya over in the UK and through the office over there, getting a chance to look at the British Museum. Currency, whether you talk about the Knights Templar, whether you look at the evolution or how certain things have been commoditized in order to have a value of exchange. But just being able to possess this thing and have it there, and through perhaps generations you pass it down. And 60 years, is an achievement in and of itself. The coin, though, Ms. Deborah, what can you tell us about it?
Okay, it's a silver coin,
Mm-hmm.
but it has color on it, so that is pretty much unusual as well for a commemorative coin. We have had coins that we've had color, but this one is really, really has probably outdone ourselves. So when the Celebrate Cayman Committee, contacted us, because of course we are the agents for government and in charge of the currency, so we're the ones that have to do it, because it does have a face value. And while the face value is only $5, it is worth a lot more because it is almost pure silver. You can't have a pure silver coin because you have to mix the metal with something else to make sure that it stays together. So it's a 0.999 fine silver. That's the metal value, and then it's 1 troy ounce. So it's 1 ounce what gold and silver and all the precious metals are sold in.
Right. So from that perspective, then, even though it's a $5 value, so if you were to exchange it, you could go into the supermarket and get $5 worth.
Yeah, you would only get $5 for it.
Right.
Right.
But
it's worth more because it's silver content.
Right. Whatever silver's trading at now, that's the value. But even as a collector down the road, it could be worth even more
in years to come.
Yeah.
And because it's a limited, mintage. I mean, we did the first one is only limited. That was 250. So there's only 250 of those coins that exist in the world, and they went off. And like Cara said, they sold. It was like a record-breaking sale. It was sold within 36 hours of us receiving them. So we talked about it, and Cabinet approved for us to do a second version, mintage. And so it's sort of like a series, something like that. So we made Cara and between the Celebrate Cayman, and Cara is the brainchild behind this.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, the design.
He's going in.
I'm going to get in trouble here, but no, she has them because this is the second coin that she has done. She's a former employee of CIMA as well, so we work really well together on the coins, and she has a very keen knowledge and knows what is does, because you just can't pick up today and say you want to mint a coin and have it here next week.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way. I know Franz always speak. He said, he always refers to what us as the experts from CIMA, and he didn't. And he said he never in his life dreamed the amount of time that takes to go in to do this, the back and forth, and making sure that things aren't. And you just can't, because he said, well, can't we? When people said to us when it sold out the first time, can't you just mint more? But first of all, we couldn't mint more at that because it said it was 250. Well, can't you just do something? And it still took a while.
It still took a while.
It still took a while for us to get it. Because we
and to agree on the changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's been a fantastic project. I take it as, from my perspective, it's a project. And then I think Cara would concur with me that it is a project. When you're working on something of this, trying to put together a coin, it's a project. So to bring two of them to fruition, I think, is amazing. And sales have been going well with this second one. We did more. We did 350. And although only 349 is for sale, because you talked about the museum in the UK, so that's hopefully something that we will get to one of these days as well. So that we keep one of our coins for our museum. And
now we know this one, the price of the first one is sold, and then the price that they offered. There's a term.
Yeah, the price is still the same. There's no change in price, because what we had to do, what part of the process is that you have to create a die. You have to create a mold. So even though the design was pretty much the same, we had to get a new mold because for the color, you have to have a certain amount of recess that the color can go into and stick into. So we had to change the mold so that we could make those changes. So it still ended up being the same price as the last one.
I have a question, Miss Debbie. How many full color coins do you all have in your vault? It's not many, right?
No, I can't.
This would be our first kind of adventure into full color coin. When I mean full color, I mean the coat of arms has all the colors on it, has the coat of arms color, and we have that gold. So I was just curious, just sitting here thinking.
Yeah, I know we had, because remember the five, we had colored for the quincentennial coin, so that was quite colorful as well. And then we did we still have in our stock the the museum, the 25th anniversary of the museum, and that was at least two, maybe three. 2 or 3 colors.
Yeah.
So I mean, this was a little bit more advanced because I think the layering of colors and stuff like that, and I must say the mint did us well, and it came out.
All right.
If you can get something perfect, I would say it's almost perfect.
It's quite a beautiful coin.
It is. Well, we'll talk more about that when we come back from this final break. It's very short. I ask you to rejoin us and tell you how you can get a coin. And don't just keep it in your pocket and spend it in the supermarket, okay? Keep it for posterity. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Miami is so much more than just a shopping destination, offering a variety of vacation experiences. And regular Miami airfares are now from just $182 CI round trip, including taxes, with Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Whether you're planning your child's next birthday party or simply looking for a social night out, look no further than Kingpin Bowling at King Sports Center.
With a range of packages and specials for bowling parties, socials, and corporate team building, Kingpin Bowling offers what no one else can. The only bowling alley in Cayman, and it's indoor fun, which means no mosquitoes, AC, and don't forget about their bowling bar. Book your bowling lanes today. Call 946-BOWL. That's 946-2495. Email kingpinbowling@candw.ky. For more information, visit their website, www.kingsportscenter.com.
King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
Hello, I'm Joseph Woods, the Acting Port Director. Our port facility is the hub of the Cayman Islands commerce and economic activity, handling $658 million in imported goods annually. From groceries to construction materials, all sectors of our economy depend on the port. But it is now 40 years old. Its infrastructure is degrading, and we feel the strain from insufficient space for both cargo and cruise operations. The time is now. A new expanded port facility is needed to allow both cargo and cruise to operate efficiently and to support our island's continued growth and development. Support the port, support our tourism, support Cayman's continued growth and development.
The Department of Environmental Health is committed to picking up your garbage. To avoid delays, please place all of your household garbage in large bags. Do not overfill garbage bags or place loose trash in containers. These risk lengthy stops, which in turn lead to greater delays. Inform your neighbors too. Their poorly packed garbage will delay your pickup as well. Bag it and bin it. We will collect it. Do your part. We will do ours. Brought to you by the Department of Environmental Health.
Cayman, let's recycle together. It's time for our annual Yellow to Green recycling program. Please collect and drop off old dry directories today. Yellow to Green recycling bins are now located at multiple convenient locations: Foster's IGA locations, Hurley Supermarket, Yellow, and participating primary schools. Thank you for supporting the Yellow to Green recycling program, turning old directories into reusable materials. Community program is happening now until March 31st. For more information, please visit findyellow.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Talk today. Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. And it's, not just because of the wonderful company, both Ms. Cara and Ms. Debbie Ebanks, as we talk about Celebrate Cayman and the issuing of our coins, but the notion that we're talking about celebrating Cayman and we have a coin to commemorate such a celebration. Looking back, we hopefully may recall this discussion. People listening might, but our children and children's children can look to it. Maybe it'll be a coin in our collection that isn't just there collected dust. It's been passed down to instill within us a greater sense of pride. I was thinking of that as I was recalling what His Excellency said at the outset. The royal visit gives the country a chance to look at its history. Maybe as he, in his capacity as governor, comes out to the public, meets the people, gets involved, understands the thing, what's unfolding in the country. As a people, we take increasingly, perhaps more interest in who we are, where we're going, where we've come from, what we want for our country. And I think having a stamp or a coin, something tangible, as you said, Ms. Cara, at the outset, is a way to point to this thing that could, embody a sense of not just civility, but, constructive form of unity. Right, Ms. Debbie?
Yeah, and that's what goes into deciding to, what you do to commemorate. You commemorate significant milestones and stuff like that. So this is a significant milestone, and to have the public response that we did with it, I think speaks well that people are becoming more aware of or developing, I think, a national pride in what we have to offer. And so it's and I must give kudos to the Celebrate Cayman committee and government for having the idea of pushing this forward, because it makes people more aware. I'm quite sure now in like last year, or probably it was started in 2014. It started in May 2018. You'd ask anyone probably in 2017 to name the parts of the coat of arms. And I think it would be very few. There would have been few people, but now I believe just about everybody knows the parts and the significance of those parts. And so for CIMA to come on board with the Celebrate Cayman Committee, in collaboration with the Scottsdale Mint, to produce such a great souvenir or something that could commemorate, that we would have for years and years. I've always collected from time it was currency board. I collected commemorative coins, so it's a good project that we could work on.
And it's one of those things. I mean, some of us are collectors, whether it's we have stamps or we have coins or we have dolls, or as some call figurines. There are things,
newspapers.
Newspaper. You know what? I'm almost tempted to say, but let me just behave. It's only Wednesday. I still got 2 days left here with Miss Susan. She wants me to behave. She promised me. But those things we may not, appreciate it as much as future generations will. Some do it because they understand the sacrifice. For them, it's a chore, it's a task. It's not just sheer enjoyment, but they're doing it because they know what it means for posterity. People who get enjoyment out of it, I think it's great. You go to visit them and they show you their coin collection, they show you their stamp, they'll show you, postcards even from different places. With Cara, though, when we look at the design of the coin, and not just the process of it, but just the initial, well, what does this thing look like? What shape should it take? As the creative genius that you are?
Well, it's the 60th anniversary logo, and that was basically done and agreed on from the first launch of Celebrate Cayman, and that was, that's basically our brainchild. So, that's Mr. Alfonso, Marzita, Samuel Rose. All four of us got together and say, all right, well, how do we want to move this forward? How do we want the look and feel to be like? And as you can see, the 60th anniversary is promptly on the government building. It's on the LA building. It's going up in the airport shortly. The coat of arms is going up in the airport shortly. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're celebrating the coat of arms. Everyone has that national pride for coat of arms. So it just seems the valid thing to do is to encase it with the 60th year, because that's what we're celebrating. Yeah, and it actually went really nicely onto the coin. It fit beautifully on the coin.
I think what it should do as well, Ms. Debbie alluded to it, the fact that as we build national pride, as we start to, bring all of us to the table, that we appreciate our national symbols, we start to have respect. The idea that there may be a banana orchid, for instance, and do we recognize it? The silver touch, is it protected? If we can capture this in something tangible, it becomes a teaching tool. It becomes a symbol of respect for all and sundry alike.
The national symbols.
Yeah. I mean, I think like I said, you don't just issue a coin nilly-willy. You choose things that are significant to commemorate. We did a 10th anniversary coin for Heroes Day. We did the quincentennial coin. We did National Museum, 25 years of the National Museum. So it's thing. And you spoke about one of our national symbols or one of our national things. And we've always looked at flora and fauna, because flora and fauna always go over well for sales. ships goes over well. And we have a significant and a strong maritime heritage. So we have done boats, and a matter of fact, part of CIMA logo is a schooner. So it was all just natural thing that we work along with this, and so that we could have something. And it's available. Like I said, we only have limited amount. I'm not sure exact. I can't. If somebody was to call up and say how many we have left, I couldn't say it because the sales has been going well. We did a press release, and we've also did another talk show. So the word is out. Yeah. The word is out, and word of mouth as well, because all those people that were on the list that did not, we took people's name because we said, well, they wanted us to take their name if in case anybody came back or somebody did, said. So we made a list, and we contacted those people, and of course they came in and got, and then those that have already had the first coin speaks to it. So, and some of them have come back and gotten some as well. So, the sales have been going really well. So, if you want a piece of this history, but once this sells out, no, that is it. And the price is very reasonable. It's less than a bottle of perfume or even a pair of sun hot glass shades. I guess I'm going to get in trouble. But they're only $48.90 CI or US $60. Yeah. So it's $48.90 CI. And they are available from the currency division of CIMA, which is located on the ground floor of the government administration building. So they can come in there, or they can call our sales clerk, and she can be reached at 244-1596, and you can make arrangements for you to come. She'll, put together whatever you require, and then when you get to the government building, you wouldn't have to wait in line. And of course, being part of a government building, there's lots of parking behind immigration, so you can just pop in and say hello to the folks there.
Exactly. And I think as we look at it, we talk about the quincentennial celebrations, and we're saying, well, you want to celebrate 60 years of your Constitution, your coat of arms, or what have you. It just shows that the country is still relatively, young. We're still coming into our own. Maybe informed ongoing discussions in classrooms as well as in backyards as to where we are. And in a very short sort of span of time, we've made great strides. We have a shipping registry that is 118 years or thereabouts, quite some time. But yet, as we mature as a destination, not just from the tourist perspective, not just from financial services, but as a people, these are things that bode well, right, Ms. Cara?
Yeah, it does, and it also helps revive our culture, our history, and just bring awareness of who we are again. Because sometimes we get kind of muted because there's so much noise out there. But as a Caymanian, I'm proud of these things, these milestones that we have had in our history. Luckily, personally, this is my second coin that I've done. So as a Caymanian, I don't think it was only the only other coin that was done by Caymanian is the museum coin. So it's really good, and it's so funny because when I did the Heroes Day coin, they were still selling 2 years after. And one day I got a call. I have some visitors downstairs, and I wasn't sure who it was or whatever, but it was a group of people that came off the cruise ship that bought a coin and wanted me to sign it.
Wow.
Because they had Googled it and they saw my name connected to it and everything. So I had my little 5 minutes of fame. So that was interesting. And it was a group of co's as well.
Yeah.
So they were from, they were just cruising through. And they found me, bought a coin, and got me to sign it. It was interesting.
Those co's cruise, boy.
Yeah, it was cool. From Savannah.
But in I think it's mostly when you talk about milestones and stuff like that, and the significance of it, that has always been associated with marriages and stuff like that. You have a silver anniversary at 25, golden at 50, and your diamond at 60. So some people say, why celebrate 60? But 60 is a significant. I think anything after when you hit 50, every 10 years or so, or even every 5 years should be celebrated. Or every year celebrated.
Every year? Every day.
But I'm saying, but yeah, every day in life. But when it's a significant 60 is a significant amount of time. So, and to have that and to bring it to something that is so beautiful, it's just.
Yeah, well,
I think people should own a part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're going into the Constitution. We're going into the Constitution next year, so we might have something special coming out then too, because the partnership with CIMA has just been beautiful.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and as we go into the changing geopolitical landscape, so, I mean, that's maybe let me leave that for when the politicians come on here. But thank you all very, very much. I think the coin, not just the aesthetic appeal, but its intrinsic value, its symbolism, speaks volumes. The designer, if I may say, is phenomenally gifted. I mean, whoever designed it, should be given kudos
yes,
for her excellent talent. It shows what our people can do if given a chance.
Exactly. And just to know, Cara, I think we have another designer because we did the 20th anniversary coin of thing, and we actually had an in-house, in-house competition within CIMA, and so we had a local person that had designed that as well. But I know we're wrapping up, Dwayne, and just to let people know, the coin is still available. It's at CIMA at the Currency Division in the Glass House. And, well, everybody's still going for it. At the government building. Sorry. The government administration building on the ground floor. And the number to call if they want to call and make sure that, everything is in order is 244-1596.
Well, thank you all very much. And I know that those who purchase will not just purchase it because of, its phenomenal appeal, but it's the sentimental and intrinsic value itself. So thanks very much, Ms. Debbie, Ms. Cara. And when you see Alfonso, remind him, as Ms. Debbie said, who's the brainchild.
But no,
he gets out every day.
Yeah, we want to thank Radio Cayman, for assisting us with getting the word out as well. So, and
it's a pleasure.
Yeah, so we do thank you and your colleagues.
Well, thank you all very much. And as we celebrate Cayman, let's celebrate every day. Let's be remiss of me if I don't tell us that we all have a role to play. It may not be equal, but it should be unfettered when it comes to making this country great and remaining a civil, a very, a wonderful, socially harmonious society. Tomorrow, we have the good company of the Honourable Opposition Leader, Honourable D. Ezra Miller, joins us tomorrow. At least that's what my schedule says. If not, then Miss Susan and I will have a competition. Who will host and who will go fishing? Until tomorrow, be blessed.